Hello, and welcome to the weekly moon update for the week of April 15th through the 21st. I can't believe how fast April is flying by, but I say that every month, I'm sure. So this week we have a first quarter week because we had our wild and crazy solar eclipse new moon last week. So the light and energy of the moon continues to increase this week. So this is when you might want to start moving forward with your intentions and just like taking those first steps. Before we jump into the moon energy of this week, I want to talk about a couple community events that we have coming up. The first one is we're going to be streaming live on Twitch on Wednesday, April 17th. I've been trying to stream a little bit earlier the last few weeks, but I just have it written on the calendar as 8:30 because that's what time I usually would start, but I've been trying to start like a little bit earlier. So it just depends on like what I have going on for that day. And then on Sunday, I'm hoping that we can have a cozy watch party and continue with watching The Legend of Korra, and that will be Sunday at 8:30. So that means that next weekly moon update will be premiering early. So that way, if I premiere at 8 o'clock on YouTube, then we can all get over to Discord by 8:30 to start the watch party. So like I said earlier, we have our first quarter, and that's actually happening on Monday. So as we're transitioning between Cancer and Leo, we've got our first quarter moon on Monday. And that means for the rest of the week, we have a waxing gibbous. So the waxing gibbous leads us up to the full moon, which we will have next week. So technically we're starting off Monday in Cancer energy. While it's not my ideal way to start a week with some watery self-care, watery emotional self-care energy, hopefully because we've already been in Cancer over the weekend, that you got lots of resting, relaxation, and integration from the wild and crazy week we had last week, that by the time we're here on Monday, we've been in Cancer a while, hopefully you've been practicing some self-care and you're like ready to get started with your week. However, if not, then like I usually work weekends, so Mondays a lot of times is my day off. So I'm not sure what my schedule is like this week. I do like to take a day off on Mondays if you're someone that works on the weekends. So we'll be in Cancer energy all day Monday, and then at around 7:22 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is when the moon starts to transition. So we'll move into Leo around 10:24. So that means we will wake up Tuesday morning bright and early with Leo energy. So Leo takes us from water to fire. So this is more activating, and with a waxing gibbous Leo moon, this is a lot of energy. And we will be in Leo energy all day Tuesday and all day Wednesday, and the moon will start to transition Thursday morning. So this means our middle of the week is going to be fiery and active, and Leo likes to, be in the spotlight, like put yourself out there. Kind of, you might be feeling like the transformation that you went through over the eclipse. You might start to be like feeling like that is like you're presenting this new version of yourself, this post-eclipse version of yourself to the world. Leo does like to dress up and be social, and maybe if you were hibernating last week, this is when you're wanting to step out of your cave and actually like go out into the world again. So lots of energy and lots of action. Probably want to put your more energy consuming to-dos on Tuesday and Wednesday. Then at 8:01 a.m. Thursday morning, the moon will start to transition into Virgo and will officially be in Virgo at 10:11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So this means that all day Thursday, Friday, and a lot of Saturday is also going to be in Virgo energy. While I was talking about Leo energy, like presenting this new person, this new post-eclipse person to the world, Virgo is going to help us actually like make the steps to embodying that transformation or like integrating that transformation into our lives in a practical way. Like if you set intentions to like start working on a project, Virgo can really help you organize the schedule and the checklist and the to-do list and the like figuring out like what it is that needs to make what it is that needs to get done to make this thing happen. If you're like Virgo's gonna handle like making the plans, getting things on the calendar, setting a date or a deadline, those like practical, physical, earthy, tangible things that we need, like setting up your planner or setting up your day. Like on the Virgo full moon, we're talking about having these daily routines that support you in a holistic way, having daily and nightly routines that really help you get motivated and started in the morning, and then having these nightly routines that like help you to let go of the day, to totally decompress, and so that you're able to get rest and ready for the rest of the day. Because Virgo's not just the sign of like organization, it's also the sign of like health and service. So how can you take care of yourself in the best way possible so that you're able to be of service for everybody else? Saturday evening is when we start to transition into Libra, and we'll officially be in Libra at 11:09 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that means that all day Sunday we're going to be in Libra energy, and Libra, remember, is the scales. So if your scales were kind of tipping with this eclipse energy, Libra will help you figure out, how do we find that balance again? How do we integrate this new person or this new self or these new ideas or these new concepts and like make sense of them, find clarity around the transformation that you've just made. So to recap the week, we are starting off with water energy, which is like using a waxing water moon is about getting in flow of your emotions, how you're feeling. Like if emotions come up, let them flow. Don't just like suppress them. And that's when you have these like emotional outbursts, is when we're suppressing things. So use water days as a way to release and cleanse and get into the flow of things, so that you're not like Aries is very like this is the Aries moon cycle, and this was the Aries new moon and the Aries eclipse that we had, and a lot of the other planets are in Aries. So it's all of this like bouncing off the walls, and water energy can help us kind of like get into that inner tube so that you're floating. And like if you do bounce into some walls, there's some cushion there so that you're not just like pinballing off of things. You've got some bumpers there, some cushion. So get in your little inner tube on Monday, float down into more fire energy, but this is different fire energy. This is more of like a ta-da, this is who I am kind of energy. And because it's the middle of the week and there's like, we've got a waxing fire moon, this is way different energy than when we had the dark moon fire energy or the Aries new moon energy. The dark moon and the new moon is very like using fire to burn things away, whereas a waxing Aries or a waxing fire moon can be activating and creative and cultivating creative energy, cultivating inspiration. feeling motivated and inspired. And then we get to come back down to the ground, get our feet ground, get stabilized and organized with Virgo energy. And I do want to bring this up because we have a Virgo week. This is a time where you can really go back to the tarot spread that you did, or just in general, when the moon is in Virgo, it might be a good time to check in to any of the new moon activities just to kind of make sure that you're still on track and see if you need to adjust or fix anything, because Virgo's the fixer. And it also might be a good time to like look ahead to the full moon and see like what might be coming up and getting ready for that. We also have Beltane coming up. You might want to start making plans for what you want to do outside to celebrate mid-spring. And then at the very end of the week, we're going to have air energy with Libra. And this helps you breathe a little bit and take a look at things and like what needs to be balanced, what needs to be reined in, like what are you calling in to help support your stability. And it's also just going to help you find clarity, like mental clarity, and really be able to envision or start to envision whatever your intentions were on the new moon. Okay, so we've got a couple of decks to go through for our oracle cards for this week. I was really drawn to this archetype, the Wild Unknown Archetypes deck, originally for this week, but then we ended up getting some starseed energy, so I was like, oh, we better pull from the starseed deck. So our first archetype card is the comic, and I think this is really beautiful before I even read it, because the Aries new moon hit me hard. The eclipse kicked my ass. Mercury retrograde is continuously kicking my butt. So it's important to be reminded that laughter is the best medicine, that even with all of this intensity and this shadow work and this releasing of old things, having to look at old things again, like having to do all of that dirty work, it's important to remember to laugh, to have fun, and to take time to play. This Leo likes to play too, so like it might be during the middle of the week having some playtime or laughter time. But it's also really important, and I think one of the reasons why I love Patty Negri so much, who's a psychic medium. She considers herself the Hollywood medium. I've taken a few classes with her, and she always says, like, after you're doing this deep spiritual work, it's really important to just like screw off a little bit, like get some junk food and put on a romantic comedy and laugh your head off. And it's really important to just like come back down to earth, come back to putting your feet on the ground. And laughter is a really wonderful way to like get into your body, to like, feel that joy again, and it helps you like release that heaviness. The Joker, the Clown, and the Fool. The comet carries a remedy for all that ails this world. Amid the deepest pain and suffering, there is always the potential to lift up and out of the darkness through laughter. Though dismissed by some as lowbrow or unsophisticated, this archetype actually has a highly advanced mind. Some may use the word genius, as humor requires one to see the situation from afar rather than be swept away by the drama. The comic sees and accepts the messiness of life, using it as material to be mixed and shaped into a potion to soothe the stressed and serious mind. They literally lighten us up. Thus, within the comic is usually the sage or the magician, working healing magic upon any audience who will lend an ear. The comic may be the archetype that heals the deep division in our world, one pun at a time. And I got chills like reading that because it's so true. It's so true. Laughter is the best medicine. I remember one of the first times that I laughed really hard after my dad had died, like one of those like laughters where you have to like catch your breath and your belly aches because it hurts so bad. like one of those laughters. And I remember thinking in that moment, like, wow, I thought that I was never going to laugh again, because grief is that deep darkness that just like overcomes you, and it's really difficult to see the light. And I just remember just like, I really thought I would never laugh again. And then there's also some guilt that comes around that, where you're like, oh, I shouldn't be laughing at this time. I'm supposed to be sad. And but the truth is, like, I don't think it's ever inappropriate to laugh. I'm probably wrong about that. I'm sure there are very inappropriate situations to laugh at, but it just breaks that tension. It breaks that, it like cracks open that shell and allows the light to get in. Okay, so from here I'm going to go to the chakra card and then the gemstone, because these are what led to the starseed card. Wholeness. You have within you the power to heal all that is in need of your love, including yourself. Open up to the vastness of your heart and allow its purifying presence to wash over you in waves of self-acceptance and graceful allowing. From the space of whole soul fulfillment and nourishment, you will be able to give and receive abundantly. You are the forests and the oceans and the earth and the sky. Honoring your wholeness is your path to wellness. I do kind of feel like this relates to the comet card as well. Like it's like you can't just only feel the darkness and be spiritually connected all the time. And you can't only be the jokester all the time. Like, we have to have both of those and lots of other different pieces to make up this whole version of who you are. It's the same thing with your birth chart, as you're not just your sun, moon, and rising sign. You're all of those other different aspects of your chart as well. So this is a heart chakra card. The crystal they recommend is manganese calcite, and the herb is hawthorn berries. I love hawthorn berries for the heart. I actually feel this kind of like openness, like just reading these cards, of this kind of like breaking free from the intensity that was last week. So we're talking about breaking up this intensity, but we're still continuing with intensity this week. So I think that this week is going to be about like integration, like integrating that in the intensity that we went through last week. And so the crystal that is coming through for us today is moldavite. Moldavite is a stone of extraterrestrial wisdom and communication. It's a Synergy 12 stone that accelerates spiritual growth, facilitates astral travel, and opens the soul star chakra. This gem can bring about major priority shifts and even physical life changes, including career, relationships, lifestyle, and more. The affirmation is, I open myself to spiritual transformation and otherworldly wisdom. I feel like I need to put a disclaimer on here. Working with moldavite is very intense. And if you are looking for a gentle shift, moldavite is like an eclipse in stone form. It's really going to like push you over the edge and make you be the fool, like jumping into things that make you really uncomfortable, but it's going to lead you to your highest good, but it's going to do it in a very, if you're not ready, don't use moldavite. If you're not ready to move forward and make a very drastic change in your life, then don't use moldavite. If you're ready and you need that push, if this eclipse like really kind of kicked you in the butt and you're like, okay, I'm ready for this, like let's go, then use moldavite. I have some moldavite. I don't work with it closely. I like to keep it like an arm's length away because of its intensity. So it is an extraterrestrial stone. Like, it is not of this earth. It came from a meteor that fell to Earth. So it's literally a space rock, or space glass, I guess I should say. So just a warning and little FYI. So because of the moldavite and the extraterrestrial, and I was like, should we do starseed? And I felt like we had done starseed not too long ago. So I was just like, no, I want to do something new. So that's why I'd picked the archetype deck, or a deck that we hadn't used in a while. But then when Moldavite came up, I was like, okay, my first inclination was Starseed anyway. So we have the Cosmic Heart, which goes with the Heart Chakra card that we also got today. So devotion, potency, and make your life a moving prayer. When you surrender to a state of devotion, you find yourself flowing with all of life. You're being called to refocus your attention deep within to the intelligence of your own heart, to bow with deep reverence to your inner temple, to live your life in devotion to this place, to make your life one big moving prayer. Perhaps you've felt a bit off kilter lately, sensing that the potency of why you're doing things has gotten a little watered down or weak. Perhaps you've forgotten what made you start doing them in the first place. If so, this is your call to take a moment and reconnect to the truth at the very center of your heart, to get back to the essence of what you're about, to devote your life to what you care most about, to turn your gaze deep, 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 deep. There are seasons for harvesting and seasons for sowing. Right now, you're being called to plant your soul's needs and sing them to the deep devotion. And sing them with deep devotion, to feed them with the sweet waters of your own soul, to lose yourself in the potency of what it is that most expands your heart, to live your life according to what makes you come alive, rather than what everyone else thinks, to make your life one big moving prayer. How can you make your life a moving prayer? So overall, as a whole, I think like this week is really about the integration of whatever came up for you during the eclipse, or integrating whatever downloads you received, whatever upgrades, giving yourself that time to rest and relax, but also that time to just like laugh and play and be silly and do something earthy, like put your feet on the ground or have a big belly laugh, something that like gets you into your body this week. And figuring out how you can truly like devote to continual transformation. So one last big thing that we have going on this week is on April 20th, and Jupiter and Uranus are going to be conjunct. So a conjunction is an aspect that you will see on your birth chart that looks like, I don't know, looks like either some glasses or a dumbbell. And so, but the symbol of it actually depicts like what it is. It's when two planets are within, every astrologer uses a different orb or different degree to how close they have to be considered a conjunction. And it's usually between 3 and 5. So it means that Jupiter and Uranus are going to be within 3 degrees of each other. And in this case, they are in the sign of Taurus. So if you go back to the beginning of your planner, to the keyword charts and learning the houses, planets, and zodiac signs, as well as understanding your birth chart, there is a planetary chart here in the front. And what we want to be looking at is Uranus, who is the planet of revolution and liberation, freedom. And we're also looking at Jupiter, which is the planet of growth and expansion. And they are both conjoining, or I like to think it as if they're holding hands, or they're just like having a conversation. So they are conjoining in the sign of Taurus, which we are getting ready to enter Taurus season. So we're going to really get a chance to know Taurus energy. But Taurus, as you can see, is depicted by the bull. This is an earth sign where like your hooves are firmly planted on the ground. I always just envision how bulls like stomp their feet before they charge at things. And this is like really a visualization of like getting grounded and centered before moving forward with things. But Taurus is ruled by Venus. So this is like earthy, comfy, cozy earth energy. And so when we're talking about the planet of liberation and freedom and revolution and the sign of growth and expansion and luck in a sign that is comfy, cozy Taurus really can have a great positive impact on everybody individually, but as well as the world as a whole, because there are so many places around the world that are needing some peace and some revolution and some freedom and liberation, and they need to feel safe and they need to feel protected. There are way too many people out there that are not feeling that way. And a lot of people look at when planets come this close together, that it's almost like they form a new planet. And in this case, this would be a planet of luck and freedom and growth and liberation and expansion and revolution. Like, this is like if we were to form Uranus and Jupiter together, and it just has this potential to have a great positive impact on so many things in our lives. So this would be something to really focus on this week as you're integrating that deep, dark stuff that came up during the eclipse, and look at it in a positive light. Find that light at the end of the tunnel that's like getting you to the other side, getting you to that place where the grass is greener and people are safe and taken care of. So this is all happening on April 20th, but it has been happening for a while because the planets slowly come together and then they're going to like move in their separate ways. And in Jupiter's case, it's going to move into Gemini in June, I think it is. And Uranus is going to be in Taurus for quite some time. And Uranus also is going retrograde later this year too. So they're kind of like in passing of each other. But they've been both of them have been in the sign of Taurus since last year. And so they're going to still be in the sign of Taurus together until Jupiter moves in June. So within the next few months, you're still going to be feeling this energy. It's just going to gradually they're going to move like further away from each other. And so this is the peak of it. And this is the height of it. This is like the most intense time of it. But so was April 19th, and so is April 21st is still going to be very potent. It's very much like the full moon. Like when the moon is full, we feel it, yes, on that day, but you're also feeling it the day before and the day after. And as the moon gradually changes, this is just like a more slow moving process. So we're going to be feeling it for a while, and we've been feeling this shift and this change since last year. I think it was November of last year. So what I would recommend over the weekend is to try to remain as positive as possible. If you encounter some obstacle in your life, think of this comet card and try to find something to laugh about. Try to find something to break that tension, because this is a very wonderful opportunity to bring positive energy into your life and to keep it there, to have it build this momentum for you that continues with that growth and expansion and that liberation and that freedom. And I hope that for everybody. I hope that we see that globally. I hope that we see big changes to places that need freedom and live, and just that need so much. I hope that we really see that. So there's really beautiful energy for this week. There's other things, like definitely check out other astrologers and what they're saying about it. The reason I focus on the moon is because I can be in control of how I feel, and the moon can help assist me with how I feel. So if I'm like feeling grumpy on Wednesday when the moon is in Leo, I'm going to think like, what would a Leo do? A Leo would probably change their outfit and put on some makeup or something. Or they might go out and socialize and have a conversation with a friend. And those are things that I can control. I'm in control of that. I can't control what Jupiter and Uranus are doing. I can control how I'm feeling. So if I'm grumpy on Saturday when the moon is in Virgo, I might get out a to-do list and say, like, okay, what is it that I need to do? And quite honestly, like when you make a list of things that you need to do, It helps get it out of your brain so you're not feeling anxious and overwhelmed, like, oh, I have too much stuff to do. So this is just how I use the moon to help transform my life. And I hope that you are enjoying hanging out with us. We will see you next week, but remember that we will be premiering the weekly moon update at 8 p.m. next week so that we can have a watch party in Discord on Sunday. So thanks so much for being here. I will see you next time on the other side of the looking glass.